Namaste. Happy New Year to all of you. I hope all of you had a great vacation, some time off, relaxation, recharging, and everything. May this 2026 brings joy, knowledge, success, and spiritual wisdom to all of you. We also have a lot of plan for 2026. I'll cover that sometimes later. We have been working a lot on Ramayana and the Gita. What you just heard is that 1 minute music is something that I was working on for the last 10 days. This is the Ramayana relaxation music. So like that, we have composed almost 12 tracks. It's with the bamboo flute and some traditional drums in specific ragas. So that's coming. Podcast is starting. A lot of explainer videos are getting ready. So excited to start this year with all this. Okay, with that, let us resume this series, Karma Demystified. This is one of my most favorite class because it gave me an opportunity to think through the karma holistically. Usually we study karma in bits and pieces in different scriptures. Even if you take Bhagavad Gita, the whole topic is distributed in many chapters, zigzag. Sometimes you go forward and then you go backward. So here it gave us, me and Avanti, an opportunity to take it and sequence it, present it. So extremely thankful to all of you for giving us that opportunity. So we covered 4 sessions, and I know that Avanti covered a little bit what we are going to cover today. But since it is 2-3 weeks, I thought probably we will restart with that topic because that is where the law of karma begins. So we wanted to make sure that you understand that correctly, and we will continue discussion. So before we get started, let's quickly get grounded on where we are on this particular topic. So what we learned so far, that's what we are going to quickly cover. We saw that karma has a larger dimension. The first dimension of the karma is the kriya, or the action we do, either with our speech or the body or the mind. That means even a thought, a deliberate thought, or an emotion you experience is karma. The scope of the karma is much larger than typically we think. Second dimension of the karma is the unseen impact of that actions in us. So these two put together is the total scope of karma. Usually people don't think that full meaning. Some people uses karma only for the dimension 1. Sometimes people uses only for the dimension 2. But karma in its totality, it is that 2 dimensions we talked earlier. And then we talked about how the karma is classified. Meaning there are different ways of dicing and slicing karma. For our class, for the best understanding of this subject, we classified that into 4, especially the first part of the karma, which is a karma as a kriya, as an action. So it can be classified based on the purpose. It can be nitya karma, naimitya karma, karmya karma, nishiddha karma, prayaschitta karma. We talked about that a lot. And the second classification is based on the swadharma. What is nitya karma, niyata karma and aniyata karma? Niyata karma means the karma is obligatory duties. Aniyata karma is optional. Nice to have, must have. That is based on the dharma. And the third one is based on orientation. It could be Vaidya karma. It could be a ritual based on the Vedic prescription, right? So Veda Vihidam, that is the definition. And the other one is Laukiya karma, Loka Siddham, that you want to achieve in the material world. This is the exact definition given by the Vedas. Veda Vihidam, Loka Siddham. So nobody says that Loka Vihidam. Loka Siddham, something you need to achieve. That is why it is called. And then based on the attitude of our mind, when the attitude of the mind of the karma also can be classified as Swattiya karma, Rajasiya karma, Tamasiya karma. We went through this in detail with a lot of examples. The videos are available. You can always go back and visit it. But just to ground, just wanted to bring that up to the point. So this was the diagram I used at the end. A beautiful diagram. It is that classify the purpose, why, that is the 4 type. Then the orientation, where it is, meaning Vaidya karma or Lauki karma. Dharma, whether it is, well, should I, meaning, or it's obligatory or mandatory. Then attitude, how, Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. This captures the essence of the 4 types of karma we talked about. So we covered this much, and then we covered one more topic. This is very important. We typically think that our effort alone is going to determine the result of the action. We have seen that there are 5 factors that affects the result of a karma. So karta, the individual who performs the action; karana, the instruments of action; adhisthana, the foundation, environment, or the key conditions under which you perform the action, adhisthana. Then cheshta, the effort applied; and daivam, the unknown factor. These are the 5 factors. Again, we had a long, detailed discussion on this topic. If you have any doubt, just go back and refer this video. This is such an important topic. This is studied as a PhD topic. There are so many people who are doing PhD on this. And this is coming in management books. Actually, IIM is planning to publish one big top research paper on this. I'm just telling you, this is that much important topic it is. So this is, we saw. And now we paused here. So we thought that why the results will vary despite of our best effort. Sometimes we put our best effort, hard work, we think that everything is good, but the result is not aligning with our expectation. Sometimes I don't put any effort, but sometimes I get more than what I need to. Sometimes I get completely opposite results. Right. So the classic example Swami Dayananda used to say is, suppose I wanted to take a bus. The bus can come in time. That is good. Sometimes the bus can come, like I can get a ride. Somebody can come in a car and give me a ride. That's even better. Sometimes the bus get cancelled. I have to walk. That's another karma. Sometimes I can get hit by another bicycle or a motorbike. All these are possibilities. So you need to understand that in spite of your best effort, there are other 4 factors. 4 factors, overall, you have some control, but one factor, absolutely no control. This is called the hidden variable, unknown factors, X factor, whatever we call. So in spite of our best effort, this also influences our results or the outcome of the action. So this is what we covered so far. Is that logically connecting from session 1 to session 4, right? It is like a progressive elaboration of the same topic. Any questions or comments? Otherwise, we can get started. Before that, let me ask Avanti to add anything on the topic we covered, recap we covered so far.
I think this is fantastically covered, Rajeshji. We can just proceed. It's the recap was perfect.
Okay, great. So now we are proceeding to today's topic. We said there are 5 factors that influencing the result of the action. 4 factors we have some form of control, but there is one factor where I have zero control or completely unknown. That is called Deivam. See, the astrologers traditionally were called as what? Deivajna. That is the term used in the Vedas, not the modern day astrologers, but Deivajna. Why? It's not that they are men of God or something like that. They can see this factor 5, which is Deivam. The unseen factor, they might be able to give you some indication. See, I'm not for or against astrology. Don't think that. I'm just explaining. That's it very neutrally. So today's focus, we are trying to understand what is that law behind this unseen factor. this unseen factor, we already talked about it as Devam. So what Vedas tells us, or the Vedic scriptures tells us, is that this factor, people call it as randomness or accident or chance or luck or bad luck in the modern world. But Vedas tells us that it is not a chance or randomness. There is nothing called randomness or accident in the world, as per the Vedic vision. Even the entropy, which is a measure of disorder, and that also operates within an order. This is the Vedic vision. So it represents the influences of our past. That is what Veda tells. This law explores, like, there are so many unanswered questions in our life. And this law is known as law of karma. We might have heard this term, law of karma, law of karma, law of karma. So this fact, laws, there is a set of laws that governs this unseen factor, Devam, which is one of the 5 components that determines the results of my action. And that is what exactly is the laws that govern this unseen X factor that is known as law of karma. Is it clear? Okay. So let's continue. So the first point in this law of karma, every action produces 2 types of results. Whatever you do, for the vision of law of karma, it produces 2 types of results. Again, let me clarify that. Every deliberate, willful action. Unknowingly, if I do something, of course, there could be some impact, but mainly it is talking about the willful action. Consciously I'm doing. So the karma applies to the intentional action, not to the involuntary actions. Of course, there is some other laws. I'm not talking about that. But whatever we are going to talk about, this law of karma is applicable to the intentional action, because otherwise there are so many other things we need to discuss. I'll come back to the unintentional action a little bit later, but let's finish the law of karma. So basically, what it tells is every action produces 2 types of results. Phalam. Phalam means the results. So one is called Drishta Phalam and the other one is called Adrishta Phalam. Drishta Phalam means visible actions. Drishta, drishti, right? Eyes. That is what in every thing we talk about. Drishta Phalam means the visible action or relatively immediate. It happens in our lifetime. It may not be tomorrow or today, or it may be in the next split second, or it can wait till the end of our life, but it happens within our lifetime. So that is the Drishta Phalam, and we will be able to see that. Adrishta Phalam means we don't know why this result happened, and it may not be immediate. It could be later point of time. It could be even in the next birth, or it could be after many births. This is known as Adrishta Phalam. So usually what we see immediately is not the whole results of the karma. We typically think that, okay, I'm profitable, I cheated somebody, nobody caught me, so I won. No, that is not the whole result. Something else is waiting in the pipeline. So this is the basis of law of karma, the first principle. Let's continue. So this Drishta Phalam, as I said, like it is the seen result. Results that are directly observable, usually experienced here and now. Now means it could be till the end of your life. And often people mistake this Drishta Phalam as the only results of your karmas. And it can be pleasant and it can be unpleasant. Let's take modern day example. Suppose I donate some money to someone. A student is struggling for education. I gave $100 to that child. What is that Drishta Phalam? I become less richer by $100. Like earlier, my bank balance was $1,000. It is now $900. That is a visible effect. This child was struggling for money. She got the money. She was able to pay the fees. Nobody can pay the fees with $100. Just take this as an example. That's it, Drishta Phalam. The child showed some gratitude and some nice words to me. That is also Drishta Phalam. I felt good of my action. Again, that is Drishta Phalam. A lot of people think the other way. That's why I am bringing. All that can be directly seen or linked to this action is Drishta Phalam. Cheating somebody. Immediate finance gain, cheating IRS. You don't pay the taxes. So you saved $1,000. Sometimes you get IRS notice and pay the fine. That is also the Drishta Phalam of that action. Sometimes legal consequences. Speaking kindly in a conversation, like harmony in a conversation, good relationship, more people come to you, all that is Drishta Phalam. Losing temper, argument, stress, people start running away from you, all that is Drishta Phalam. So Drishta Phalam alone does not define the complete outcome of the action. This is what you need to take away from this. Okay. Now let's continue. The next point is Adrishta Phalam. What is Adrishta Phalam? Sorry, I should have made it a little bit more bigger. Next time I'll do that. Adrishta Phalam means the subtle results which cannot be perceived directly. It accumulates and it manifests later point of time. It manifests later as like favorable circumstances, unfavorable circumstances, unexpected support, or unexpected results, resistance. Right? Sometimes you do everything possible, but you won't get the results you want. This unseen result is due to the karmic potential and according to the law of karma, and this is known as Adrishta Phalam. Excellent interview. What happened? The hiring process got frozen after you were given an offer. Have you seen that offer? Have you seen that situation? Like some friends might have experienced it, right? Then startup idea. You have an idea. Right investor come to you at that time. Amazing, right? Sometimes it happens and it get clicked. Then like minor symptoms, you go to a doctor, early detection of a big disease, you saved a life. Like promotion ready, the organization restructuring. Delayed, right? A healthy lifestyle, unexpected illness. There was a movie actor, right? Kannada movie actor who passed away at the age of 45, Rajkumar. Like he was very healthy. There was absolutely no sickness. Something happened. Then, travel planned carefully, flight cancellation prevent an accident. Remember that Air India incident? One lady was stuck in traffic. She missed the flight, saved the life. All these are like some effects of the karma. So this is just a few examples. These are all examples of Adrishta Phalam. Then Punyam and Papam, right? So this Adrishta Phala can be classified as two categories. One is known as Punyam. This is how the Adrishta Phala or the accounting of the karma works. This Adrishta Phalam is not random. It is fairly governed by the law of karma, right? So Drishta Phalam and Adrishta Phalam are there, and this Adrishta Phalam can be classified into Punyam, karmic credit, Papam, karmic debit. Punyam means what? Meaning I'm going to explain what exactly it is, a little bit more detail, but it will manifest later as a favorable condition. Papam means it will manifest as something like unexpected or some consequences will be there in the future. This is what is Papam. This is not the original sin we are talking. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. These are determining how a karma produces the Adrishta Phalam of Punya or Papa is based on how much your karma is aligned with dharma. If your karma is aligned with the dharma, it produces Punyam. And if your karma is not aligned with dharma, it produces Papa. So Punyam and Papam are not rewards or punishments. Punyam and Papam is just the reciprocation of my action. Suppose I put my finger in the fire, and the fire burns your finger. Suppose you ask the fire, why did you punish me? If the fire can speak, what it will tell you? You put your hand and you got burnt. That's what it is. So the papam means clearly you violated, one of your deliberate action was not aligned with dharma. So these are moral consequences, not divine judgments. This is very important. So you are not punished by the anger of God. God doesn't carry anger with people, right? So that's why we don't entertain people like God-fearing. When you understand God, you don't need to fear God. You need to fear only your actions, your karma. That's it. So ethical choices, long-term rewards, right? Unethical choices, delayed hardships. This is the basics. So life may surprise us, but understand that it never cheats us. If I go through some experiences, understand that I need it. That's it. This is the Punyam Papam. Let's deep dive a little bit more into this topic. So what do Punyam and Papam really mean? Right? So Punyam is karmic credit. It came from the Sanskrit root pu, pun. Punyam means it is to purify. Pun is a Sanskrit root. By the way, those who are not attending the Gita class, Sanskrit is a beautiful language. Sanskritam is a beautiful language. What is the beauty of the Sanskritam compared to English or any other modern Western language? English, the word meanings are pretty much arbitrary. Sometimes you take a word from a dead language and overload it. Atom, that's a good example. Sometimes what do, you take some two words from two different languages and add that. And sometimes because of a cultural, that is how the meaning is created. But in Sanskrit, what is the beauty? Every word is derived from the root, Sanskrit root. And there are approximately 2,500 root. So if any word you take, you can derive the meaning of that word using the grammar roots, like Ashtakhyayi of Panini. If you know how to interpret it, you will be able to derive the meaning of any word. So here the word punyam means it comes from the word pun, and it means purify, uplift, refine. Remember, it is not a divine blessing or anything like that. It is to purify, it is to uplift, and it is to refine. I'll share the slides. I am sorry to keep it in a smaller letter. I'll increase the size next time. So this represents the karmic credit, and this is governed by the dharmic actions, and this is governed by the laws of nature. This is what punyam, and this punyam later manifests as favorable conditions. So let's see what is papam means. Papam, it comes from the root pap. It means, understand this, corrupt, weaken, disturb. This is what the root means. So papam means any action that corrupts you, any action that weakens you, any action that disturbs the order. That is what is papam. Not the original sin, right? Original sin is what? Like eating the fruit of knowledge. That's not what it is. Because the word sin and papam, you cannot match, and you cannot say that like condemn people. That's not the vision here. It is totally different. So that's why I'm deliberately using the word papam, not the sin. And this represents the karmic debit. It is stored as invisible in the karmic account, right? So think about this. Every action you do, something will go to your karmic account. It could be a punyam or it could be a papam, and sometimes like it's a mixture. Like you may do some good thing, but intention is something bad. So it could be a mixture also. So we'll talk about that later. So whatever you do, something will go to your karmic account, and this will Adharmic actions will go as Papam, and the Dharmic actions will go as Punya, and this will manifest later point of time as some favorable conditions, unfavorable conditions. This is what it is. Like hidden debt. It accumulates interest and you have to pay a big amount later. That's modern example. Okay. So these are some of the basics of law of karma. Then when this Adrishtam manifests, that is the next topic. So this timing of the manifestation of this Adrishta Phalam is not uniform. It may manifest sometimes immediately in your life, Adrishtam, even Adrishtam, or later in the same life, or sometimes it's in a future life, life after life. So this manifestation, when to manifest, where to manifest, all that is governed by the law of karma. So this karma is patient, but it is precise. Nothing happens accidentally. This is what when the Adrishtam manifests. So now this karmic pool and the flow of lives. We're going to deep dive into this in the next class, but just a preview, right? All these unseen results, Punyam and Papam, form a karmic pool. And this pool governs the birth condition, like what exactly is going to be my future birth, what is going to be my environment and the family, major life situations. This will influence. Like each life draws a subset of this pool. Like we are going to talk about this whole law of karma in the next class, so you will understand. So when my life ends, what exactly is going to determine my next life is this pool of karma. What is in my pool? Punyam, Papam, everything together. So what happens is, it is not that all the punyas are drawn and give me a life, all the papams are, no. Some algorithm, like it's like a deep learning model. You don't know what exactly how it works. There is absolutely no explainability or transparency here. Something will happen, some subset of these karmas will be pulled down, and that is going to determine your next results. But there is a way to skew it. We will talk about that later. Krishna clearly explained that in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, how to skew that algorithm or how to influence that algorithm. That is there. But generally, it is pulled based upon the law of karma, and that is how you get the life. And usually, it is a mixture of punyam and papam, and your life will be influenced by that. This is what the karmic pool and the flow of life. So this karmic pool and pool of lives, again, past action will be stored as a karmic pool, and portion of that will be manifested as circumstances. And like current actions, what it will do, it exhausts some of these old debit or credit, and it creates new karma, and this unmanifested karma will be carried forward. Just let me explain that one more time, right? So a birth is determined. Let's say that I have 1,000 karma in my pool. Like 100 karma will be pulled, and that will determine the cause of my next birth. So what is going to happen? By that life, that 100 karmas will be exhausted. But what is the challenge or the situation? In this life, I may do another 100 karma. That karma will go to the pool again. That is why this is what is the punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. So this is what is determined the life, birth, life. The cycle of birth and death is determined and controlled by this law of karma or the pool of karma. Okay, so modern analogy, right? It's an example. A large saving and a loan amount. Every year, some balance is used and new deposit and withdrawals occur, right? So large savings, some of this will be used, and loan amount, sometimes you put some deposits and the loan will be reduced. Sometimes some withdrawal will come, loan will increase. So the key insight here is no karma is lost. It only waits for the right moment. Life is not random. It's just a continuation. So why understanding of this law of karma important? It explains some of the disparities. It allows healthy acceptance, because otherwise you will not be able to accept. Strengthens this trust, empowers responsibility. See, karma is not fate. If I think that everything is an action of God, everything is predetermined, and I don't have everything, that will make me fatalistic. Karma is going to make me responsible. That is what it is. And it builds confidence. Like if I do something, I know that I'll be able to clear all these things and move forward. That is the benefit of understanding this law of karma. So before I recap, let me pause here and give to Avanti to add any additional comment.
Namaskar and Happy New Year, Happy 2026 to all of you. So it is confusing. Why do things happen the way they happen? We've tried to see Drishta Phala. We know why something has happened. I eat a bad meal at night. I get up with hyperacidity. We know that's the cause and that's the effect. But most of our life revolves around these unseen factors, which we have no idea. We don't know why we are born in the family that we are born in. We have no idea why we are married to the people that we are married to, the children that we have, the accidents or the illnesses that happen in our life. We absolutely have no idea. And teachers have come and gone to try and emphasize just one fact, that there is no, please write this down if you have to, there is no effect without a cause. Please understand that. The entire mortal existence, the entire mortal realm is based on this one principle, that there is no effect without the cause. Whatever we are experiencing in our life right now is because of a cause that belongs to us. That's another important part of the theory. Something that is happening to us, something that is happening to me here, is not happening to my neighbor. Why? Is there a random roll of dice up in the heaven that says, okay, you know what, today I'm in a mood to just give this person this accident, not that person? Then the world would not make absolutely any sense. So when you look at it that way, you understand how to come to acceptance that whatever is happening in your life, you have planted those seeds. When they say, as you sow, so shall you reap. Please understand, this is not fatalistic. It is fatalistic in the sense is that when I have done an action, it is going to have a consequences, no matter who I am. And we have stories and stories about that. Let me start with one of my most favorite stories, Raja Parikshit, who was Abhimanyu's son, right? Who was the Pandavas' last heir. Think of his story. He was a great king, a very virtuous king, a very righteous king. And he goes off into the forest with his troop and gets lost. I'm going to paraphrase the story very majorly, just so that you'll understand it in an animated way, so you understand the lesson, what it is. He gets lost in the forest, and for a long time, they're hungry, they're thirsty, they're roaming about here and there. And he falls upon a hut. He goes inside that hut, and there is a sage meditating over there, deep in meditation. And he goes and tries to converse with the sage, but the sage does not open his eyes at all. He continues to close his eyes. And Raja Parikshit, who is such a virtuous king otherwise, who Krishna himself has saved from the arrow in the womb, okay, he comes from the Pandava lineage. For that one moment, he gets angry with the sage. How dare he? I am the king. This is all my kingdom. This forest belongs to me. He's meditating. How dare he? Walks out, looks around in that rage, in that anger. This is a completely sane king, okay? Takes a dead snake and flings it upon the meditating sage's neck and walks away to express his anger. Did he mean that? It was one moment of slipping that made him do that. The sage's son comes in, sees that, is extremely angry, and he curses Parikshit. He says, within 7 days, you will be bitten by a snake and you will die. A consequence. When the sage came out of that whole thing, There was no way that he could retrieve. He shouted at his son. He said, how could you do this? This is a very great king. It was one moment of anger. You know, he couldn't retrieve the curse. But what did Parikshit do? Did he say now, okay, now I'm going to kill the son also, and I'm going to kill the sage also? How dare he? How the Praja tried to keep him as safe as possible from any snake. But just as the curse was said, the snake came and it bit him and he died. What did he do? 7 days were given to him. What did he do in those 7 days? He went and sought the answer. If I'm cursed and if 7 days are left in my life, what should I do with myself? And then he was given the Bhagavatam, which is often read many times so that we have proper understanding towards the end of our life. So when we talk about these actions and these reactions, sometimes we see it directly. Okay, I've done this and this has happened. But however great you are, however insignificant you are, when you have done an action in any lifetime, when Buddha became Buddha, he saw 543 lifetimes from when he was an amoeba to when he was Buddha. In that, he saw himself even as a robber and as a killer and everything. We are talking about the Buddha. And my yoga teachers to always say, we've all been there. We've all done that. We've all done all unthinkable things. Think today. Why do you have such strong traits within you? Why do you flinch at alcohol? Maybe you don't, but I'm just taking my example. Why don't you just want to ever have alcohol? Why don't you ever want to murder somebody? Because those lessons, those sankalpas, we're not born right at the start with that. We've developed that understanding over lifetimes. She used to always say, we've been there, we've done that, we've done everything. And so we have evolved to this state which has brought us to knowledge. So when you understand that whatever is happening to us, there is a cause, and that cause only belongs to me. Again, there are many and many teachers who tell so many stories to make us make sense of life in our head. Dhritarashtra, apparently, there's a story that goes, when he went to Krishna after the war and he said, this is so horrible. Why did you do this? All 5 Pandavas you saved, none of them died. 100 sons of mine, 100 you killed, not even one. Not even one remained. How is this possible? So Krishna said, it's your papa from the previous lives. He said, which papa? So he said, many lifetimes ago, you were a young, arrogant prince and you walked into the forest and you smashed 100 eggs that were about to be born. These are just stories, but just to try and make you understand. You smashed 100 eggs. And then those eggs didn't have any chance to, even birth or even come into life and all that. This is your payment. So he's saying, if I've done this many lifetimes ago, why now? Why now have you taken away my 100 births? And that answer of Krishna, he says, to even have one child, it takes many janma of punya. To have 100 children, imagine how many lifetimes of punya it'll take. So when Rajeshi said, Adrishta Phalam waits for the right moment for it to come into fruition. That right moment is very, it gives a huge consolation to us. That whatever comes to us right now in front of us, however bhayanak, it is the right moment. How will you understand it's the right moment? Because you will be equipped to face it. Why do we feel we are not able to face it? Because we feel that, we are not ready. We have not even accepted what it is. Why me? Why that? Why this? Why all of that? But when you understand this entire karma theory, when you're in that acceptance, okay, if something is coming to me, I have been the root cause of it. Right now, I have knowledge with me. Right now, this has happened. How well do I address this? So that is very important. So even in those Adrishta Phalams, you have to understand that the cause is with you. So the solution also will be with you. You will be equipped to face it rightly. Not without knowledge, of course. You need to have knowledge. Only with knowledge, you'll be able to face it rightly and make good out of it. So when you talk about punya and papa, yes, there's a clear distinction, good and bad. But just think about it. From whatever we've studied, and we've spent a lot of time on this thing, between pain and suffering. Do you all remember the distinction? We've made 2-3 classes we've spent on this distinction between pain and suffering. And we used a very strong quote which said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. And the only reason that we are studying the Gita anybody on this planet is studying the Gita, if this reason is not correct, you're wasting your time with the Gita. You are not studying Gita to stop the pains in your life. Because the pain, if you are in a mortal body, if you have a body, your body will be afflicted. How? Again, it comes with this whole karma theory. If you have a mind, your emotions will be affected. If you have an intellect, your thoughts will be challenged. There is no human being on this earth, not even a God incarnate, who has been spared with these by these affectations. So there's no way that you will be affected, that you will not be affected. So Gita in no way promises that the affectations of your life, according to your own karma theory, can be mitigated, can be stopped, can be annihilated. It cannot be. If anybody says that karma can be stopped, it cannot be. But what Gita teaches us is that suffering bit, is that it has arrived. What has arrived? What is going to happen is not predetermined at all. What stands before us is a cumulative amalgamation of all our past choices, all our past actions. So what's come is come. What Gita does here now is it teaches you how to address this right. First and foremost, not to suffer. We've already seen those verses in the Bhagavad Gita so far where we just stopped. The wise don't grieve. They don't grieve about what is coming, what is going, what is passing, what is already past. They don't grieve. That is what Gita teaches us. So when we talk about karma theory, please don't try to find an answer. How can I stop what has come? What has come right now. You've started the engine, you're here. You have arrived at that moment. Don't tussle with that to try and change that. Swayam Narayana, I've said this 100 times, is standing next to Krishna and his most beloved son, next to Arjuna. His most beloved son, Abhimanyu, was slashed to pieces, not even just killed, was hacked to pieces in the Chakravyuh. And Krishna was standing beside him. Another very important thing, right in the end of the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 18, Arjuna says, from whatever you've taught me, all my delusions have been busted. I'm free of all these delusions. All of this is thing. Karishye vachanam tava. I will now do as you say. He did not stop at, oh, you've given me some great knowledge. Now I'm a very peaceful and very happy individual. Thank you very much. That knowledge has to be put into action. That action is what stands before your Drishta Phala and your Adrishta Phalam. Unless you act with knowledge with what comes before you, you will never be able to address that karma. The problem with spirituality is most of humanity is coming to spirituality to say, how can I change this karma as it is showing up? How can I stop this? They're coming and saying, how can I not let it pain me? That pain is inevitable. How much you associate with that pain is what's going to make the difference. Now, even Ramakrishna, who was one of our greatest sages produced by the Indian soil, Swami Vivekananda's guru, was diagnosed with the most ravaging form of throat cancer. He was a self-realized soul amongst us. Did he? And somebody asked him, if you read the Gospel of Ramakrishna, somebody asked him, you have all these powers. Why won't you heal it? And his answer was, why would I waste the powers to heal the body? The body is transient. It's the one thing that is going to go first. In 4 hours, it's burnt. Why would I spend all these powers to heal the body, which I am not even? Even Ramana Maharishi, it is said, had a massive tumor or something in his elbow. And for a long time, he refused any treatment. He said, no, I don't want any treatment. Then one disciple who was very, very firm that he needed treatment, he got some doctor, and that Ramana Maharishi told that doctor, I'll agree for you to take it out, but without anesthesia. What is this disidentification? Can we do it now? No. It's not something that is going to be magically we get up tomorrow and say we feel no pain, we feel no this. But we start practicing. In little doses, we start practicing disidentification with that. Now, when we go back to those 5, that is the crux of this entire Karma Demystified, I feel. The 5 things responsible for action. Please mug it up by heart. Karta, the doer. Karanam, the instruments. Adhishtanam, the body that you're doing everything. Cheshta, effort, and Daivam. So now, forget about what has come in front of you. Forget about what situation you are in right now. Forget about that. Focus on these 5. As Rajeshji said, 4 are very much in our hands. So how do we address this karma? Adhishtanam. Let's not talk about the surroundings, because whichever surroundings you're in, your body is your adhishtanam. You're going to act from the body. When we say that karma happens in 3 ways, it happens from action, it happens from speech, and it happens from the mind. Where are all these 3 things? Within the body, correct? So wherever you go, your body is your primary adhishtanam. So when you look at the body, okay, I am going to act from this body. What's the best way to handle karma? To look after the body the best you can. To look after the body, not so much to not have pain or to always be in a state of bliss. But when what's his name? He just sent such a wonderful message right now for New Year's. I don't know whether he sent it on the Q&A or he sent it to us privately, but I'll send it on the Q&A, where he said, Vikranji Tomar, he sent a message and he said, may we live 100 years. So may we live 100 years for what? A, to bless this world with how we think, how we speak, and what we do. Bless the world with that. And most important thing is to come closer to the self. Even if we don't realize the self in this life, come closer to that. So that is what we have to work with the body. My body is a temple of God. If you have an altar at home, you take so much care of that altar. Your body is the walking, talking, living altar of the self. So we take care of we are just trying to maximize good karma, okay, in this. We take care of the body. Next thing is Karanam. All the instruments that we have, the 5 organs of actions, the 5 organs of perception, and the 2 mind and intellect. Let's just take them as that 12, just to keep it basic. So again, Gita will talk again and again. We'll go through the Gita together. Rein in the senses. Bring the intellect into the in the forefront. Keep the mind behind. Let the intellect drive your body. So all these karanams, the Gita will teach us how to use it for what again? To again inch towards the self. Very, very important. Then the karta. This is the main thing of the Gita. The Gita outright defies. You're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the intellect, you're none of these. Then who am I? I am the self. So when you are doing anything, whenever you say, I am doing this, that's it. You bound yourself in karma. Now, can you say, oh, no, I'm not doing it. The Atma in me, the spirit in me has come and done this beautiful thing. I take no ownership. It's not something to say aloud. It is something to know within. This renunciation of doership is an internal act. Outside, you say, yes, Avanti is speaking. Divya is listening because she's right in front of my face and all the other beautiful faces that I can see, some more than before. Thank you. So all of this, of course, there are names, there are forms, there is Nama Rupa in this world. But the more and more we are able to detach, something within me is making me do this in the world, that has no ownership. That is what starts lessening. The reason that we are consistently hit by karma is anything good, I have done it. The repercussions of that good is not going to last forever. Anything bad, we push ourselves into the ground. I have done this. That is not going to last forever. Everything is going to come and go. So the more and more, it will not happen overnight. Please let me not promise anything. More and more you're able to say anything you do. And this is beautifully explained in our book too. That whole concept of Ishvara Paridhana, that offering, which I spoke about quite elaborately last time. When you start going that there is something within me, I am an instrument. When Krishna says, Nimitta Matram Bhava Arjuna, just be an instrument. And that instrument is, now you'll say, oh, then what's the point of living? The point of living is that you have to exhaust all these karmas, prarabdha karmas that you've come over here. If you're going to exhaust these prarabdha karmas with that doership, you're going to only exasperate it. And as Rajeshri rightly said, you'll be taking back more than what you've come with. The idea of this particular human life is, to the best of capacity, when we go back to the check-in counters to leave this realm, we have to go no luggage, no carry-on, no check-in baggage. Please understand that. Right now, we have come with 2 or 4, how much ever your seat, economy or business allows, with all that luggage and carry-ons and a purse and a laptop. And we are going to go back to check-in with much more, because we haven't finished off all this. We have to empty those bags. So very, very important to understand that the whole process of it is to empty out whatever we are doing, and that can only happen with knowledge. So that is the karanam, the karta, that I'm not doing anything. I'm doing it in the sense that I am exhausting my karmas. I'm the instrument of the Almighty. And most importantly, I'm doing good in the world. Good not for me, but just general good in the world. That was that punya that we talked about. After that comes cheshta, effort. Again, effort has to be the maximum. Whether you're sweeping the floors, whether you're cleaning the toilet, whether you're cooking the food, or whether you're a CEO of some big job. Karma is not one big thing that we do and, oh, good karma, bad karma. In every thought that we think, every action that we do, every word that we speak, there is a karma. So when you're trying to address karma, every aspect of our life has to flow in such astute consciousness. Can you even see that? And again, that's only possible, which we've discussed 100 times in class before, if the entire life becomes a prayer. Prayer is not a part-time worship, please know. Prayer is a 24/7 life story that you are living in this world. When Gandhiji said, my life is my message, the Gita says, my life is my prayer. Every moment of it. Again, how is this going to be possible? When we study the Gita, when we delve deep into one aspect of it, it will become clearer and clearer how we are able to make every moment a prayer. And then when you look at life as a prayer, tell me, what does cheshta look like? What does effort look like? I don't have to elaborate it further. How, in what state of mind, body, intellect, action are you going to your altars, going to the temple? As pure as you can. No lage meri chudri mein daag and all that, none of that. As pure with all the daag that you have, you're going to the temple with an earnest heart. What is the Gita saying? Every moment of your life has to be that. Has to be approached like that. Slowly, steadily. As the Bhaja Govindam says, Kuru avadanam mahadavadanam. Slowly, steadily. It cannot be rushed. Rushed spirituality comes into a crash. So those are the 4. Now the 5th part, Daivam, is covered with the second thing that we talk very deeply about in chapter 2. We will come to it very soon. One thing we talk about is Ishvara Paridhana, which everything we do. Now, if you look at all the other 4 causes, we have made ourselves spiritual. Spiritual means what? You are closer to spirit, not to matter. Matter is your body, mind, intellect. Spirit is your Atma. You're closer to Atma. So those 4 things you're cleaning up with that proximity to Atma. You're cleaning up your doership, you're cleaning up your ego, you're cleaning up your effort, all of that. Now, if all of that is clean, all of those 4 have come into that bhakti of Ishvara Paridhana, I'm offering everything to God. What remains is the 5th thing, which is not in our control. And what is that 5th thing? Daivam. If you've done everything as Ishvara Paridhana, when you enter the realms of Daivam, it is a natural thing that you will have prasad buddhi. That is what we talk about very heavily in chapter 2. Prasad buddhi. When you go to the temple, you may have gluten allergy. You may have lactose allergy. Nowadays, people say, thank you, I don't want the prasad. But initially, the age and era, I'm really old, that I come from, no matter what they give you, you have to eat it. Are Bhagwan root jayega. Right or wrong? How many times I have told my kids, it's bad, bad karma will happen. You have to eat it. So now think again, my body is a temple. My world is a temple. There is a living conscious Atma within me. Everything that I'm doing, I am offering, there is going to be something that is given back to me. What is that? But prasada. And however it comes. So sometimes prasada could come in a horrible accident, right? It could come in a horrible illness. It could come in a job loss. It could come in money loss. It could come in whatever is the most bhayanak in your life that you can think of. But when you have the prasada buddhi, which can only be ignited by the cause of this effect lies with me. I know now karma yoga. I'm going to address this, what has shown up properly. I accept what has come. I do good with it. And I go further. That is the only two ways that you can navigate this whole karma theory. Is that do everything you do with and as an offering to the Lord, whatever is showing up in front of you. And how, see, in one class, it's not easy to say, okay, I've understood it. Class over class over class. We ourselves, we might be sitting over here and giving this class weekly. But I know for sure both of us usually come from harrowing weeks. We are like you, family, householder people, working people, have jobs, have things to do. If only we can come over here and with a big smile, talk about these things. And the reason why we took up these projects like Ramayana and Gita is because whatever little, kinchita, Bhagavata Gita, kinchita Gita, says the Bhaja Govinda. Whatever little we have understood from here and that has worked, we are trying to come and share over here. So, Prasada Buddhi, Ishvara Arpanam, these will carry you through any and every karma, Adrishta or Drishta Phala. It doesn't matter. And most important, understanding this. Even if you don't understand all the 100 slides and the 1,000 words that I have spoken and whatever else it is, if you can understand law of theory, law of karma, cause, effect, the ways a karma is born, all the 5 things that happen are involved in a karma. If you understand these things, you'll know where to start putting your energy. Not in going to God and say, please do this for me. I have a friend who doesn't eat or drink anything throughout every Tuesday. She's going and sitting and she's breaking 108 coconuts in a place like Singapore, in a Ganesh temple. Why? Meri beti ki shaadi ho jaye. Can you believe, is it possible it will happen like that? Yes, grace is there, God is there. But and that day I just casually said, what are you doing for the beti ki shaadi ho jaye? Have you put her name in the matrimonial? Have you done other things? Have you done whatever else? No, nothing. I'm just hoping beti ki shaadi ho jaye. Somebody had come to Swami Chinmayananda and said, you are Swami Chinmayananda. I've got diabetes. Cure it. So Swami Chinmayananda said, yes, I'll cure it. Stop eating sweets. So he's saying, no. I can't stop eating sweets. How can I stop eating sweets? So you're understanding. Karishye vachanam tava. You do, grace is there. We'll talk about grace in great detail at a later point. Grace is there. It will come. But you have to do. And the only way that you will start getting a hold of karma, a little bit of a hold of karma, is a transformation, inner transformation within you. Like, when you start understanding, okay, all the causes are within me, all the effects that I'm getting, I'm literally reaping what I have sowed, perhaps not in this lifetime, perhaps many lifetimes ago, but I have to reap it no matter what. But when you are able to transform your inner apparatus in a way that, cleanses, in a way that empties those bags of karma that we come back, not with exasperation. I slapped you just now. Okay. Your karma was that I slapped you. Now you slap me once more, then I slap you again, then you slap me once more, and I slap you again. It goes on and on and on and on and on. And I go back with 1 million slaps to account for in my next life. Right? Again, that famous question comes after I say something like this. But then what, should we just show one cheek and then show the other cheek and all of that? And, when is enough enough? When is enough enough will also be very clear to you once you understand the Gita and start using the Gita. If you look at the Pandavas' life, they were harassed and how? Even before they were born. They were born in the forest. They were not even born in the palace. They were harassed and harassed. Did Krishna come ever to rescue them from any of that? Rescue means end that karma. Did Krishna ever come to follow, you know what, you all are rightful kings and all that. Please go and become a king over there. Let's end this. No, they suffered whatever they had to suffer. They suffered all the harassment. They suffered the exile. They suffered the incognito phase of their life. They suffered everything. When that karma was paid off, when that knowledge dawned and they started acting properly, Arjuna aligned with Krishna, he won that war. And then enough was enough. So karma also has its own time for how long you have to bear it. When do you know you have to retaliate? You will know. This is a spiritual thing. It cannot be said by astrologers, or it cannot be said by astronomy or any of the Gita classes or whatever. You have to know. Gita's primary focus, at least our primary focus, is to make each individual who's listening self-sufficient. Self-sufficient means self-sufficient. You are in touch with your own self. That self will tell you what is punya, what is papa, not some book. And one of the most important thing I want to tell you, Adi Shankaracharya, over and over, through all his commentaries, has said this very clearly. Punya exists, papa exists. The Gita itself talks about 3 layers of our mental temperaments. Tamas, Rajas, Sattva, right? Gita consistently says, raise yourself from tamas, inertia, to activity, rajas. Raise yourself from rajas to sattva. And then what does the Gita ultimately say? Transcend all 3. That is the crux of it all. In Bhaja Govindam, punya apunya vivarjita. We cannot do punya to want good things in life. We cannot do papa. We cannot not do papa to save ourselves from what is wrong. Like I said, if a Parikshit kind of a Raja, such a highly evolved soul, saved by Krishna himself in the wound, in one moment of anger with all his punya, could throw that snake. Who are we? It's a sapsha. How many of you all have played Snakes and Ladders? I love that game. Life is literally like a snakes and ladder. You throw the dice, one time you're up, one time you're down, without knowledge. So yes, at times you'll have punya, your times are great. Like the astrologers say, abhi to bahut acha chal raha hai. But that acha will end na, at some point. Again in the Gita, Krishna says in chapter 8, is that whether you do punya, whether you do papa, you're coming back to this life, to this earth. You're coming back to this earth to bear it or to pay, to enjoy it. Whatever you do. Then he says, I keep saying Gita is like a Jenga. You have to add all of the things. So when you're coming back to this earth, he says, Ghana karmanagati. My karma is impenetrable. You'll come, yes, you'll come with a lot of punya. But if there's one dice in that some papa is going to come and you don't know how to address it, then what? Then again back to, but the snake is bitten you and again back to the bottom. So please understand, we are understanding punya, papa, we are understanding karma and all of this just to see what we can do to address it well. And our goal as Gita student is to be punya, papa, vivarjita. We are over punya and papa. We are just acting because we can act, we should act. We are exhausting our karmas. We are blessing the world as we live over here and passing from here. I'll give you all end with one story, just 3 minutes I'll take. There was a lady. Make whatever you want of the story. You have to get your own moral. Okay. And I hope some of you all tell me what the moral of the story is in the question and answer session. There was a lady. Okay. A very pious householder. And she used to very devout to her husband, to her children, to her in-laws, to everybody. She used to look after everybody very, very nicely. And she was very reverential towards saints. Very reverential towards saints. So one day, every day, one man used to come, Bhiksham De, Bhiksham De. You know, those people come in the villages or even in the modern cities. I think some sages will come to your house in India and say, give me something to eat. They come with a bowl. And every time they came, in fact, that was what trapped Sita, right? Got her out, that he came as for Bhiksha and she couldn't refuse that. So no Indian lady, even if not religious, will refuse a Bhiksha. This one was exceptionally pious. So every day with all her love and with all her affection and all that, she comes and gives this person, you know, Bhiksha. And every day he blesses her, you know. Every day he says, the good that you do, you know, stays with you, and the bad also comes back to you. Whatever you do comes back to you. Basically, he used to say that. So every day she was going through this. Then one day something happened and she was not able to prepare that Bhiksha. And she was very caught up in her household duties, very, very worked up, very, really in a frenzy and all that. In that moment, this man comes over there. This man comes over there and he starts Bhiksham De, Bhiksham De, Bhiksham De outside. And the lady is already agitated. And he's not stopping, he's just not stopping Bhiksham De, Bhiksham De, Bhiksham De. So she goes over there and she didn't have anything. She just took some stale food. And she's so angry. Like I told you, anger can be so bizarre. She finds rat poison over there. She puts rat poison in that and she gives it to him, opens the door and she gives that thing to him. And he says, the good that you do, the bad that you do remains with you. The good that you do comes back to you. He says the same thing. He accepts a bhiksha and he goes. Okay. Now, a husband is a traveler. He travels to different various places, far and wide. So one day he goes and he usually used to come back in the evening. That day, he didn't come back. He did not come back that evening. And she was wondering what happened. Why didn't he come? What happened to him? Then suddenly she remembered that, she's done something wrong. She's given this poisoned food to this Diksha person. So she takes the proper food and she runs behind him with all her might and she gives him proper food. And she just says, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't explain. She takes away that patra and he's not yet eaten. So he says, whatever you do, good and bad, will come back to you. And he goes walking on. And he doesn't come. This husband doesn't come second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day. Suddenly on the 8th or 9th day, he returns fully with torn clothes, with all tatters, with bruised limbs and all that. And he knocks on the door. She couldn't even recognize him. And she said, oh my God, what happened to you and all that? He said, I'll tell you. And then she brings him inside and makes him sit next to her. And he says, I got lost. I got so lost. And then all my wares were stolen by some bandits. And I did not have any food to eat. I was lying unconscious under the tree. And day before yesterday, one man comes to me from nowhere. One sage comes to me and all that. And he gives me water and he feeds me this food and gets me back to consciousness and sends me back home. And she describes the saint. She says, is it this kind of a saint? And he says, yes, this is the saint that came to me to feed me. So when you see this story, that one anger of hers created such a bad karma that she gave him the poison food, which was going to go to that husband anyway. That saint was going to find that husband one way or another. But her inner compass, because she was already a nice person, she was already karmically clean, she was able to correct that. Her husband had to go through whatever he had to go through. She corrected the most important thing, the food that would go to him, the final straw that would break the camel's back. So this is how we address. We will know when we are doing wrong. We have to step in and correct it as best as we can. So think about this story. It's not about never doing wrong. We'll talk about conscious karma, unconscious karma, but it's a matter of becoming very astute and aware of what are we doing every moment. What are we thinking? What are we speaking? And what are we doing? So think about this story. And if you all have any other insights on this story, please share it in the Q&A.
Okay, I know that we took a lot of time. Next time we'll be mindful. So quick recap. What we covered is the beginning of the law of karma, the first principles of the law of karma. We said every action has two types of results. One is Drishta Phala and Adrishta Phala. Drishta are the seen that will be manifesting. Adrishta is unseen results, and this Adrishta can be Punya or Papa. Punya is kind of a karmic credit, and the other one is karmic debit. And next week, we are going to deep dive into that, where exactly this is stored, how it is manifested, etc. So it's a progressive elaboration of the next topic. With that, we can close. Again, Happy New Year to all of you.